Hey, what up? I'm here in the Adorama event space. I just finished filming Rewind. You guys know that background right there with the weird light that makes it all weird and stuff. So we went over to Europe to check out IBC in Amsterdam, and we always pick some other place to go to. Like last year we hit Paris, Cologne, Germany, and this year we went to London. And if we're gonna go there, gotta check in with my boy Gavin Hoey, who is like the legendary top host here on AdoramaTV. And what's really cool about Gavin is he does really big things in a very tiny space. It's a small home studio, and it was really interesting to see how not only he works in that space, but also films the videos that I've been watching forever. And just having the honor of stepping into someone else's workspace like that, especially if it's in their home. This was very much like, whoa, I can't believe I'm doing this kind of a feel, even though I feel like Gavin's like a friend and more than I'm like, whoa, but it's Gavin Hoey, I mean, let's be honest. All right, so we got to watch him film with this really great model, Roger, who came ready to rock. This dude was built, had a very structured face to him, had a very character type look, and Gavin loves that stuff. And he did his high-speed sync video with him dressed as a medieval knight, swinging a sword, and I was like, this is great. So I'm standing there and I'm helping him with the smoke and all this other stuff, and I'm thinking then like, oh, it'd be cool to shoot this guy, right? And Gavin's like, hey, you know, he's got like an extra hour, 45 minutes. And I go, all right, what can I do with this guy on the fly? I had my kit with me. I had my Profoto A1s, and I also had the NanLite 2-foot RGBW tubes. And so it was kind of like all bets are off. What can I put together? And initially I thought I was gonna be shooting the night. I didn't realize there was gonna be a wardrobe change, and he comes out and he's in this like post-apocalyptic Gears of War kind of thing, which is what was flashing in my head the whole time. So right off the bat, I was like, all right, I wanna use these tubes. I wanna use some really dramatic lighting. What can I do? What can I do, you know? Of course, my first instinct was, well, I have a constant light source and I have speed lights, so some sort of drag type thing. And because I kept on thinking about Gears of War, I kept thinking like, okay, well, let's make him look like he's a little tormented, have some sort of like inner demon ghost type stuff. So the first thing I had him do was hold the RGBW tube with the red light blazing out of it, and I figured that if I didn't do a shutter drag where there was like a ghost and movement, but rather a stagnant red, shut the red off and then have him move and flash, I'd have more of a clear ghost, not so much a blur ghost, and then he would be frozen and sharp. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, this feels like everything I do ever. In the back of my head, I was kind of going, well, maybe if I have him do like multiple versions of the ghost and then we do a freeze. But then again, the clock was ticking. 45 minutes isn't a lot of time. So I had to make some decisions, stick to them, and get to an end result rather than have a bunch of half-baked ideas that were like schmeh, kind of shot. Gavin was like, all right, just light them, you know, because sometimes you just don't know what to do until you start seeing something, and then you build off of that. And that's what I did. I basically just threw a light up and said, well, let's take a look at what this guy looks like, you know, through my lens. And I already saw what Gavin did with him, but you know, sometimes you have to do it yourself. So single light up, and then threw a quick rim light on the side with like a rusty, chocolatey, orangey light. And it was kind of there, but not really. And then Gavin was like, do yourself a favor, shut off that key light and just look at it from like a really dark perspective. He didn't say it in those words, but he was basically like, make it dramatic. Dramatic usually means like throw shadows. So I did. I shut the lights off, and then boom, I'm looking at just the rim light. And I'm like, all right. So it's not really an image, but it gives him a little bit more of an atmosphere, like where the hell is he, what is he doing kind of thing. And that's when I started to turn the key light to the side and start shooting him from more of like a neutral light from the side, let it be a little not pretty, let it just cast shadows, let's see what goes on. As long as I get an eyeball in there, I should be okay, right? So now I'm looking at it and I go, this is gonna be boring fast, and that's a shame because this guy is like dressed to rock, and he is really quite a character model, really easy to shoot. I mean, he looked great. So that's when I said, man, I'm just gonna take my lens and go wide angle and really exaggerate the gun. So that's what I did. I took a really quick vertical shot and I go, okay, but it's kind of like typical, right? And Gavin's standing there and you can see me struggling with it. And I really thought that it would be more of a back and forth with me and Gavin until we built the shot. We didn't really start out that way, you know? He kind of was very hands off, like, hey, enjoy my studio. And I'm like, get in here, let's do something together. But Gavin was really fast to throw one of his tricks of throwing a light behind his subject, right? So we have this speed light on a stand behind Roger, just ripping past him. And I know that it's kind of like, well, you either light him to block the light and just get a halo rim, or you peek that light out and get like a blazing flare. And of course, you have to go for the flare. I mean, why not? And then Gavin goes, this is cool. Let's throw a red gel on it. And I go, all right, yeah, like let's do the red gel. If it's not a neutral light, there's more of a signifier of where he is, right? If there's a red light, it could be like a tail light or an exit sign or some neon, who knows what it could be, right? But at least it's not straight up neutral and leaving people to go, okay, so I'm looking at some guy lit up. After that, I go, all right, I see the red. I saw the red in the ghost that I was trying to make in the beginning shot, and I go, let's just do it the other way. And I said, I want to make this whole thing green. And the way I did that was I pulled out a CC30 lens filter, and I could have done this in camera with the white balance, which you guys could check out on IGTV. I shot some cosplay doing that. But when I shot this, I didn't have the time to figure out what the correct calibration inside the white balance was going to be for how much green I was going to offset it to. So I had this CC30 lens filter that I knew was calibrated. I knew what white balance to set it up to, and I knew what color gels I needed to work with this. So I put that on, and now all the neutral lights go green. And that includes the backlight, because we took the red gel off and just let it be this ripping white light. But because I'm using a green lens filter, the white light becomes green, and it's like this weird murky, what Gavin called matrixy green, which is kind of awesome. That's cool. And then of course Gavin goes, well, if you're in my studio, you're gonna have to use smoke. Yes, I am. So what ended up happening was when we started blazing the light from behind and going through all that fog and smoke, the fog and smoke itself becomes almost like a giant softbox. The light is getting stuck inside that as a diffusion and becomes a wall of light. And because of that, it goes past me and finds anything in the room to bounce and go back in. And so he looked really filled in and flat. And that's fine if you want that look, but I was like, it's kind of cool, but I really want some more definition to it. And that's when we started really dialing in the light. So we're dragging down the shutter because I wanted to get the RGBW tube that's going along his arm to look like a really cautionary red. If you look, there's a red light on his fist. It actually is going down his rib cage a little bit. It's going along his arm. Even though my perspective angle wasn't showing the full length of the arm, it was still there, and I could have had it if I wanted it to be. Clock's ticking, tick, 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 tick. 45 minutes is going by super fast. We're in the final few minutes of this thing, and I have to get a shot. And that's when I basically go, we need to stop the bounce of the light going all around. We need to really rein in the shutter drag so that I'm not getting all this residual light. And we need to get these lights to angle so that they're only lighting him and not bouncing all around the room. And that's when we got this final shot. Was it the greatest shot in the world? Probably not. I mean, it's definitely what came out of two guys going, what can we do really fast with this concept? Like, you're not gonna shoot this guy in some really super soft, beautiful lighting for glamour. He was already in like a grimy moment, and you wanna give him an atmosphere in a small studio, which Gavin always does. And so it was kind of more like playing in Gavin's playground, trying to put my own spin on things. And I think he was kind of really taken back by the green lens filter, because he was even saying I would have done that in post. But for me, it's really important to see things baked in and done there on the spot. And also I just hate editing. So, I think it adds to, especially the model seeing what you're going for. They're kind of like, oh, I get it. It's got this feel to it. And he's just screaming at me with this gun rah! And Thank you guys for watching. This was a pretty quick one. Check out the rest of the live view playlist. Some really great stuff from Amsterdam, the Paris video for some special effects shoots. Shot L'Amour Supreme, BK Fox, all sorts of stuff. You can check out that playlist. I'd appreciate it. If you do like this, hit like. Don't forget to share this video around and hit subscribe and the bell so that you guys can get notified when videos like this come out. If you guys have any questions for me about the shoot itself or anything we did or anything for me and Gavin, just hit us with a comment down below. We'll be down there for you. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.